Should Christians celebrate Halloween? Yes, but also no. Let's start as always by defining our terms. Christians. Should Christians? Oh, what's a Christian? I could talk forever about Christians and talk about Christ, but it's typically defined as a baptized believer in Christ. Who is Christ? True God and true man. The Messiah predicted by the Jewish prophets a long time ago. A prophet, priest, and king. He died for the sins of the world.
Were you killed?
Sadly, yes. But I lived.
So a Christian would acknowledge all of those things. That's who a Christian is. Now let's define the term celebrate. Celebrate, when I googled it like 5 seconds ago, it's like to observe something and typically to enjoy your time doing so with some friends and family. Like 4th of July, we celebrate how much England sucks.
You suck!
Then we light fireworks, shoot guns, and eat hot dogs. Halloween! Halloween. The definition of Halloween is actually gonna surprise most of you. And this is why knowing a little church history will do you well in life. Halloween today is often criticized for being a demonic, spirit-infested holiday with evil origins of cults like cutting their wrists and praying to Satan, crap like that. And it's rightly criticized for that because a lot of that stuff does come along with Halloween.
Well, you're not wrong.
Which is not good. However, mostly Halloween features young kids who dress up and go trick-or-treating, which is pretty harmless. Now, the origins of Halloween are actually not evil. The origins of Halloween are Christian. So November 1st, the day after Halloween, is a holiday in the church called All Saints' Day. And it was established by this guy called Pope Gregory III in the 700s.
You're welcome.
And it's about remembering all those saints who don't have a day designated on the church calendar. So when you go to traditional churches, there are often certain Sundays or days throughout the week that are designated to observe a certain saint. Like I went to an Orthodox church a little while ago and they were observing St. Thomas. Now different Christians define a saint differently. The Catholics and Orthodox Christians, they say, a saint is anyone who's definitely in heaven right now, and you can pray to your saint for him or her to intercede if you want, because they're up there in heaven, and they can go up there and they can nudge God on the shoulder and be like, hey God, look at this guy watching a BVP video. He looks like he needs some help.
Obviously.
Lutherans also acknowledge saints, but they have a different definition for a saint, and modern Protestants couldn't care less what a saint is.
That offends me.
However, you don't have to be Catholic to learn about a saint this All Saints' Day. It would actually probably do you well to learn more about them, even if you're not praying to them. October 31st, the day before All Saints' Day, is a day known as All Hallows' Eve, or All Saints' Eve. Are you ready to have your frickin' mind blown? Hallows' Eve is where Halloween comes from. Wow. Yes, the super evil demonic holiday that your mom was all worried about has the Christian church to thank for its existence. Another notable thing that happened on October 31st is in the year 1517, some homie by the name of Martin Luther walked on up to the church front door and posted 95 theses on the door. This spurred the Protestant Reformation. So if you're watching this video, you're most likely an American, and if you're American, you're most likely Protestant, and your church wouldn't exist if Martin Luther hadn't done that. I was growing up a Lutheran kid in a Lutheran church. On Halloween, we would we'd have like trunk or treat at our church, and we'd talk about Martin Luther and celebrate the Reformation and talk about all that stuff. So if you're a Protestant, you have all the more reason to dig Halloween. You can learn about the history of the Reformation. Okay, so now our terms have been defined. Celebrate, Christian, and Halloween. So, should Christians celebrate Halloween? If a Christian lets their kid dress up as Iron Man and go house to house getting candy with his friends, is that Christian evil? Well, let me just flip the tables on you. If an atheist celebrates Christmas, does that mean he's a Christian? No and no. There is nothing inherently evil about trick-or-treating. However, there are a lot of evil things you can do on Halloween. There's evil things like Ouija boards, don't mess with that. Don't bother with like making a weird circle, talking to demons, don't mess with Satan. Don't forget this part, Satan is more powerful than you.
But you are weak.
The only reason he's not ruling over you is because God is more powerful than him, and God's looking out for you. Even a lot of horror movies you should probably avoid. These are evil things to do on Halloween, and don't do it. And so many Christians today, usually they're called, oh, these fundamentalist, Baptist, young earth creationist Christians. They're distancing themselves from Halloween, but more power to them. Let's run a Bible check on our idea here. So Paul writes to the Romans in the Bible, and in chapter 14, he writes this. One person believes he may eat anything, nom nom nom, while the weak person eats only vegetables. Let not the one who eats despise the one who abstains, and let not the one who abstains pass judgment on the one who eats, for God has welcomed him. Who are you to pass judgment on the servant of another? So what Paul's talking about here is how eating meat, for example, could be a temptation for some people to get into gluttony. But to others, eating meat is not that kind of temptation, and they can enjoy that without sinning. For example, in my life, I refuse to ever use Instagram again, because to me it is a temptation to covetousness. But there's a lot of people out there who are just fine using Instagram, and to them it's not a temptation that's leading them into sin. So, let it be. And we need the same perspective when we're looking at Halloween. Celebrate it if you want, but don't do evil things. And for those who wish to abstain, let them be as well. For those who are abstaining, maybe learn about a saint or learn about the Reformation this Halloween. Yes, even if you're Catholic, learning about the Reformation would do you well. And if you do choose to celebrate Halloween this year, maybe dress up as a saint or someone from the Bible and tell them about Jesus. Just don't dress up as Adam and Eve.